Welcome to EVTN News, Eternal Vegano Television Network. We cover the best news stories, we cover the craziest news stories, and we have a lot of crazy news for you today. First thing is the virus religion in LA. Archbishop Gomez will not provide religious exemptions for the jab. That's particularly significant. Archbishop Gomez is the president of the USCCB, and I don't think the USCCB is really going to discuss this or come to a definitive conclusion on this. But being that he refuses to provide a religious exemption, I don't know, that's not good news for the rest of the USCCB. A lot of the bishops kind of fall within the party line, and that's not good. The next news story: Pope Francis will not celebrate Mass during a trip to Scotland. The United Nations Climate Conference is in Glasgow, Scotland, and it will take place on October 31st through November 12th. The world leaders will be addressing the conference November 1st and November 2nd. The spokesperson for the Catholic Church in Scotland told the BBC on Monday, "Our position on this is that there are no plans for a Mass whatsoever." And it's not quite September yet, so that would give them about 2 or so months to plan. The spokesperson said, "Our understanding is that the window will be extremely tight and there will be enough time to meet the global leaders, and once the official part is over, to meet the bishops, and that is it. A public Mass is not something the Church is expecting because of time constraints." So Pope Francis has a climate meeting, but he won't celebrate Mass. And, I mean, that's significant. However, the dates in which the world leaders will be speaking are significant. Did you notice that? The dates are November 1st and November 2nd. What happens in the church on November 1st and 2nd? All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. You'd think, of all people, a pope would want to celebrate public Mass, to celebrate these feast days. So, but no, he's celebrating the feast day of the Church of Pachamama, and that is the environmentalist feast days, I guess. Meanwhile, there's virus evangelization at the Vatican. The Vatican released a video promoting the jab, and the people in the video include Pope Francis, Archbishop Gomez, and Cardinal Maradiaga, among others. Those not included in the video: Jesus Christ. They frequently mention hope, but it is not associated with eternal life in any way. And maybe this video was set up by their funders. Who's funding the Vatican? That's a very good question. Cardinal Schonborn supports blessings for LMNOP. He said, and Cardinal Schonborn is from Austria. He's particularly not Catholic, we'll say. His quote was, "If the request for a blessing is not a show, if the request is honest and is really a plea for God's blessing of a way of life that two people want to embark on together, then such a blessing will not be refused." This directly contradicts the CDF's document that the priest cannot bless LMNOP couples. So Cardinal Schonborn is in direct opposition to the Vatican Declaration. He's in direct opposition to the Catholic faith, St. Paul. I don't really know what to say anymore. I mean, it's the traditionalists that are the problem in the church, right? Because certainly, if you want to bless LMNOP couples, certainly that's fine. But it's the rigid traditionalists that are the problem, because we follow the Bible, we follow the doctrines of the church. I don't know. Okay, and then speaking of, all right, so there's a bishop who resigned over an inappropriate video chat. His name is Bishop Tome Ferreira da Silva of São José do Rio Preto in Brazil, and he was on a video chat, and I'm not even gonna talk about the rest of what happened. It's very inappropriate, but he did resign. That's good. Kind of like the Monsignor of the USCCB secretary. What's his name? Monsignor I don't know. I see his name. I see his face. I forget his name. Monsignor Grinder, but yeah, same thing. Okay, and then we're getting to a really hot topic news story here. The Chicago mayor receives communion at a Catholic funeral mass. Now, this is Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who's non-Catholic in a civil marriage to a woman. Well, non-Catholic's a pretty important part here. So Father Dan Brandt distributed communion to her, and I'm going to read some quotes from him. So he said, "You know something? I am to blame for that, and I am mortified." Now, this took place at a funeral mass. He said, "I actually gave her communion, but she was the very first one up there, and I wasn't supposed to give out communion. And at the last second, Cardinal Cupich said, 'I'm going to sit out communion. You take my spot.'" So Cardinal Cupich was celebrating this mass, and last second he said, "Hey, here, distribute communion for me," to this priest, Father Dan Brand. He said, "I apologize for any scandal that my absent-mindedness may have caused. It was certainly not intentional, and I wish I had my wits about me, or better yet, I wish the cardinal had just given out communion because I was planning on going back and sitting the next portion of the mass and the procession. I can't apologize enough for anyone who's upset by the fact that she received the Eucharist. This is totally on me, and I own it. It was an honest mistake, and I pray that your readers," he was talking to this Catholic news agency, so "I pray that your readers have the same mercy that I hope the Lord gives me." So he used a few words here: scandal, and it seems like he made it. He honestly was remorseful for his mistake, and you know. Gotta give him the benefit. I think you should give him the benefit of the doubt here. And but here, even more important, he places the blame on Cardinal Cupich. He says Cupich kind of blindsided me, and he might not have been paying attention to who was coming up for communion right away. And he was like, "Oh, okay, like what's going to happen?" So, I mean, this is on the priest. He made a mistake, and he owned up to it. Cardinal Cupich, on the other hand, I don't know that he really disagrees with communion for Protestants. Who knows? Who knows his opinion on that? But it seems like really there's a lot of people that don't like Cardinal Cupich, and even his priest is saying, "Hey, he threw me under the bus." How crazy is that? That the priest is like, "Yeah, he really put me in a position that he put me in a lose-lose situation, because if this priest would have denied communion to this mayor, what would have happened? The headlines would have exploded, even though she's not Catholic and she shouldn't be receiving communion." And Cardinal Cupich didn't make that clear during the funeral mass. That's kind of bizarre. Not really if you know Cupich's background, but I also think that someone suggested, I think it was Taylor Marshall who suggested that communion shouldn't be distributed publicly during a funeral mass, or and actually Ryan the Retrograde made this point on this channel a while ago. He said funeral masses, wedding masses, any of this stuff, communion should not be distributed publicly. There's just, I mean, it's a cause for scandal. A lot of people that say they're Catholic who've never been to mass or confession in the last several years, they go up to receive communion. Some people are living a lifestyle that completely contradicts the Catholic faith. They go up for communion, so I don't know. I think that's a good idea. Don't distribute public communion. Of course, the only people that would consider that would be those rigid traditionalists, because otherwise it's a community meal and all are welcome, and why should we exclude anyone, especially people of other faiths? Inclusivity, diversity, these are the principles, the guiding principles of the new church. But as for the Catholic faith, I'll stand by the Catholic faith. And if you have an opportunity, if you have a wedding or any kind of these masses where a lot of people that are non-Catholic or fallen away Catholics may attend, then that's certainly worth consideration, requesting that from the priest of not having public communion. And people might be a little surprised and offended, but so be it. Okay, Costa Rica priest suspended for, this headline's misleading that I put in my description, is for saying TLM, but he wasn't saying the TLM. I'll read a little bit more about this. Father Sixto Varela Santa Maria said the Latin Mass until the motu proprio, and after the traditional Mass was banned by the Costa Rica Bishops' Conference, Father Sixto offered the Novus Ordo in Latin. So the bishop asked Father Sixto to stop being pastor and to retire for a few months to his family home, without the possibility of celebrating Mass in public and hearing confessions only in his home. After several moments of dialogue with the bishop, Father Sixto renounced to continue the process of canonical appeal and accepted the bishop's decision. So, guys, people say, oh, well, it's okay if, like, Rome forces the FSSP or the Institute of Christ the King to say the new Mass and all this stuff. And they're like, oh, they could make a traditional Mass. This isn't about Reverend Novus Ordo. They're stomping out the Catholic faith because here's a priest who he was banned from saying the Latin Mass. So he said the Novus Ordo as Vatican II intended. Okay, this is what a lot of people are saying. Oh, well, the Mass, it's the Novus Ordo isn't as Vatican II intended. What did they intend? They intended to stomp people out who had any respect or reverence for tradition. And here's a case. This is absurd. This priest is saying the Novus Ordo. Is the Novus Ordo in Latin invalid? Apparently, these modernist bishops believe so. And this priest, after moments of dialogue with the bishop, this blog was written by someone who is close to this situation. They said, oh, the Father Sixto, he was obedient to his bishop. What good is obedience if the bishop's going to cancel you as a priest? I don't get it. Why be obedience? Blind obedience is so ridiculous. It makes no sense. Why would you listen to a bishop who's telling you to do something that contradicts all logic, that contradicts your right, R-I-G-H-T, to the right, R-I-T-E? Why would you do this? Come on, step up, priest, and defend your fellow priests. Can we have that? I don't know. Okay. Here's awful news. Cardinal Cupich mandates the jab for all employees and clergy of the diocese. On August 18th, all employees and clergy must receive the jab no more than 5 weeks after full approval of at least one of the 3 jabs threatening disciplinary measures if priests and employees do not comply. One was just approved today. So the 5-week clock is starting to tick right now. What are St. John Cantius and the Institute of Christ the King going to do? Those are two orders I can think of. What about priests? There are probably some good priests in Chicago. I mean, I don't think there wouldn't be. The Cardinal George era, he seemed like he was pretty decent. I don't know. So are there going to be priests that band together and resist Cupich? That should have happened, I don't know, as soon as he was appointed bishop, as soon as he was appointed Archbishop of Chicago, that should have happened, because knowing his background, Cardinal Cupich has no interest in the Catholic faith whatsoever. And he actually made the news twice today. So it's pretty funny. Yeah, what are these religious orders gonna do? Is the Institute just gonna leave? I mean, I'm assuming that they're not fans of the jab. St. John Cantius, I don't know. What are they gonna do? There's got to be pushback, and maybe this is an attempt to stomp out the traditionalists in the archdiocese. It's a possibility. Don't call me a crazy nutcase or anything. This is certainly a possibility, I think, because Cardinal Cupich, you haven't heard a lot from Chicago in terms of Cardinal Cupich restricting the Latin Mass. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe he did release some restrictions, but I think out of a lot of places, Chicago seems to be kind of quiet in terms of the motu proprio and what Cardinal Cupich has done, which is, as far as I know, very little. So maybe this is his attempt to stomp out tradition and to sneak it out. I don't know, but they're not. Hopefully, they don't go quietly. Hopefully they make a really big deal about it. And there are bishops in other dioceses, especially the South Dakota bishops and the Colorado bishops, who have said, "Nah, this is wrong." So I don't know. All employees and clergy. and they'll face disciplinary measures. What does that mean? Slap on the wrist? I don't know. Cardinal Cupich is pretty serious, though. Remember Father Paul Kalchik, his parishioners tore down a rainbow flag. He didn't even participate in it. He tore down a rainbow flag and burned it. And Cardinal Cupich removed him and tried to send him to uh, Institute for Disturbed Priests. He said no thanks, and good on him. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully something happens here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much the Institute wants to push back against corrupt cardinals. Okay, Archbishop Kurtz of Louisville submits his mandatory resignation at age 75 to Rome. This is the Archdiocese of Louisville, Kentucky, and there will be a new archbishop coming up whenever Pope Francis appoints one. Prime candidate, Bishop John Stowe, age 55. He's possibly one of the worst bishops in the United States. I don't know if he is the worst. I think Bishop McElroy would probably have a word with Bishop Stowe on that. But he's certainly top 5, I would say. And, as bad as Cupich and Tobin are, I don't know. Tobin has the rainbow masses. So I don't know how I'd rank the worst bishops in the United States. Maybe we'll have to get some expert opinions on that. Maybe that'll be another show. But Bishop Stowe, he could be there for 20 years, Archbishop of Louisville, which I don't think he'll stay there. I think it's likely because Bishop Stowe is 80 miles away from Louisville, and he's in Lexington. It's less than 100 miles away, so making that drive on the highway, just a few hour drive on the highway, I think that would be kind of likely. Because he promotes the anti-Catholic agenda, he promotes the Francis Church, and this is, prime candidate. Now, if it doesn't happen, I actually will be surprised if it doesn't happen. He's 20 years. That's awful. But he was also a prime candidate for a cardinal in the Francis Church, which is kind of disgusting. But the worst characters are being promoted, and we're kind of in a bad spot, So, okay, Women Deacon Commission to meet next month after some delays in this commission meeting because of the shutdowns and everything. There's the Women Deacon Commission. The commission was directed by Pope Francis, and this is the third commission on women deacons. So the first two didn't. I think they came up inconclusive, and so this is the third one. And I don't think everyone is a modernist on this commission, so it's going to be tough to get sort of a consensus that the bad guys want to see. But it could be like the synods where they're sort of rigged, like it always could be. And Pope Francis, he has specific intentions in mind. Why does he keep commissioning these women deacons commissions? That was kind of a weird sentence. But why does he keep organizing these commissions? Like the first two didn't work, but clearly it's a rejection of the Catholic faith. So, but that doesn't stop Pope Francis. But anyway, that's the news that I have. Now, I did want to mention really quickly, can you feel like, and this is like a gut feeling, can you feel that there's intensity in the air, like in terms of the traditionalists clashing with the Vatican and the bishops, particularly corrupt bishops? Because I can feel that there's some clashes and there's a lot of tension, and things are really ramping up. The Vatican's really advancing their evil agenda against the traditional Catholic faith, and we can't just sit around and be silent. We have to take steps towards organizing. We have to take steps towards, talking to people and seeing where everyone's at on all of these issues. Do you want to lose your Latin Mass? That could be a possibility. And so what are you going to do? And it's time to plan for worst case scenario, you losing your local Latin Mass. It's time to plan for, oh, here we go. All right, yeah, it's time to plan for this stuff to happen. So I'm going to take a little scan here on the chat. Um, okay, so okay, the clashes will come in October with more instruction of the Motu. Okay, so this is something that Rorate Chaley said that there were discussions that would take the motu proprio to the next step. They would take it to the next level. And I don't know if that has something to do with the traditionalist orders. That's certainly a rumor that's been swirling around, and we'll see. But I just that it seems like this isn't it, and this isn't the end of everything. Hey, it's not the end of your Latin mass. You can have a private mass, whatever. Um, like go make it work. Go make it happen. And that's all I have to say on this. Thank you so much for watching EVTN News. EVTN News has been brought to you by Archbishop Vigano. He didn't sponsor this channel in any way. I just identify that he has, which is pretty cool. It's great to have an Archbishop's identified support. I don't know. Um, it's great that this channel is named after Archbishop Vigano because he's I would imagine he's 100% on board with the stuff that I'm saying here. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. We are the laity, and we will not be silent.